Hey guys, just another inbox review of one of the kits I actually received last month. It is of course the Dragon JSU122 tank destroyer. It was actually based on a series of JS2 tank destroyers to countenance the threat of the Tiger 1s out in Russia. This particular model, the JS122, was designed from the Joseph Stalin tank chassis, as you can see here. And they were used mainly in the latter stages of the war, not only for tank destroying but also to destroy fortifications they came across, and was used to great effect during the last days of the Battle of Berlin, which is depicted on here. Anyway, without further ado, we get on with the review of the kit itself. The kit itself is quite an old kit. It was one of Dragon's first releases, I think you'll find. I know Mike Cohen remarked on how old the kit was, so that's what I can assume is the case. As I say, I don't know a lot about Dragon kits or the history of them. But I do know I was very, very lucky to snap this one up on a very good deal on eBay, and I'm very pleased I got it, so it's going to be an essential to my armoured collection, as it were. As you can see, the illustration on the box is depicting the invasion force coming onto the outskirts of Berlin with rocket launchers going, etc. And in the background there you've got a destroyed Panther tank, and by the looks of it there's another Tu-34-85 there as well. On the side of the box you've got illustrations of the kit itself, which you can see all fully assembled. Okay, and then there is a little bit about the history of the vehicle, obviously in around about 6 different languages on this side of the box. And the kit number, in case you are actually trying to source one of these, and if you're lucky to get hold of one, is 6013, and I'll just hold that there in case you want to actually hold it and still just pause it for a moment to get the actual kit number. Okay. Anyway, let's have a look and see what's inside the box itself. First off, you've got an illustration of the actual JS2 family, or JSU122 developments, because I know these went up to around about the 1950s and were used in Korea apparently as well. There we go. Then you've got the instruction sheet, which you see here, with a little service history of the tank, and obviously you've got the illustration of the box art on the front there. And it's the familiar layout on Dragon instructions with the concertina effect, as you can see here. Inside you've got an illustration of the assembled kit, which I must admit does look rather superb. And then you've got the colour guides, which as far as I know are Gun Sanyu colours and Mr. Hobby colours, or Italeri paint numbers, so you can cross match these paints as well, and again use the colour app on your mobile. First off, you've got the assembly of the running gear, which is usually the practice of most armour builds, which you can see there. Then moving on, you put all the actual running gear apparently to the lower hull. I will not be doing this, but I will be actually putting the suspension in. And then you have the sprocket on the back here, if I can get it into shot, as you can see there. And it just shows you a rough line-up of how it should be sitting on the top right-hand corner of the page. Then you've got the back plate here, which is applied to the rear of the lower hull. And they are indicating that you should apply the workable track links. Now there is actually, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to leave that till the very last stage, guys, to be honest with you. And then you're going on to the upper hull, whereby you actually add all the grills. You've got the barrel cleaners, the hatches, etc. You've got the viewport for the gunner. And even it'll indicate where you put the tow ropes, etc. And then you've got the assembly of the fuel tanks, which actually I think go either side, which was a familiar layout with Russian tanks. And then you've got the assembly of the actual main barrel and the mantlet, etc., which you see there. Okay. Next stage is again adding further sub-assemblies to the upper hull on stage 6, and then the final application of the main gun to the actual main hull, and then you put the hatches down, tow bars, etc. And then the final process is, if I can get it to fold right, you will bear with me, is applying the upper hull to the lower hull and then securing the spare tracks on the back of the hull. And then obviously you've got a colour guide as to one of, I think, 3 examples which you can see there. The first one is the Polish People's Army, around about 1943. Unfortunately, we don't have a specific on the regiment or tank regiments, unfortunately. The second one is of a version of the Red Army in Berlin in 1945, which is more than likely the version I will build. And then another one of the Polish People's Army in 1945. All are Russian green, as you can imagine. Right, first thing I will show you is the actual hull, which you can see here. And you've even got the drive sprockets right here, all welded in. And the thing I particularly like, just where the sprocket goes on the end here, you've got nice casting texture, which I think you can just about see there, guys. So that's really nice. And on the front of it as well, you've got some nice casting texture. So very, very nicely done. And then obviously at the bottom you've got all the escape hatches and the bottom of the suspension arms, which you can see there. Okay. Next stage is the actual barrel and the front mantlet. Now unfortunately it is a 2-piece barrel, so with this kit I'm going to see if I can source a metal one, because unfortunately with this you're going to get a horrible seam down there, and it's going to be a devil to get, devil's own job, just basically to get it nice and smooth. So I'm going to see if I can source an aftermarket metal barrel. But the thing I do like on the mantlet itself, again, you've got some really superb welding texture, which you can see there. So that is beautifully caught, and even on the mantlet itself, where the barrel goes in. So that's very beautifully done. Okay. Right. And then you've got the back plate here, which is beautifully detailed, as you can see there. And then you've got the engine grille, which goes on the top of the vehicle's hull and rear plate. Okay. I'm not quite sure what this is. I'll have to do some research on that. Yes, there you go. Oh, and another thing, you've got the tow bar right here as well. Okay. Next sprue, you've got the upper hull, which again is beautifully welded, as you can see there. So that's going to come up very well with a wash, and the weld seams are caught beautifully as well, as you can see there. So they've got some nice surface texture and very crisp and clear, guys. The only thing I don't like are these welded engine grills. They could have actually sent us some PE for that, but again, this was basically issued before all the metal barrels and all the goodies were basically put into the kits. So as I say, this was one of Dragon's first issues. There you go. You've got some more of the hatches, which you can see there for the cupola, etc. And that is beautifully cast. Okay, and there you are. Then you've got the driver's port, which is there, as you can see. Okay, so that's very nicely done. And penultimately, I thought I'd show you the running gear and some of the fuel tanks on here. Again, look at the detail on the actual fuel tanks. That is absolutely gorgeous. On the front and the back, which you can see right here. Very well caught there. That's your main sprocket. Again, the detail on it is superb. And then there's some of your running gear, and these are the grab handles on the side here, and some more of the running gear. And that's going to look superb with the wash. Really nicely done, I have to say. Yes, I really am going to enjoy building this kit. And then obviously you've got the suspension arms, which you can see if I can get it into shots. Where is it? Right. No, I'm not getting it into shot, guys. Sorry about this. There you go. That's your suspension arms. Very nicely done. And then last but not least is the self-assembled tracks, which you do link by link, so you can get some nice natural sag on there, and they are beautifully crisply welded. Now I'm not going to take them out of the bag because I don't want to lose any. There you go, very nicely done, I have to say. A bit of weathering, etc., that is going to look very effective. Okay, and then lastly, unfortunately this is the disappointing part of this kit, is the decals. Now they are very yellowed. I know you can't very well make them out in this light, and there is quite some thick film. Now I may have to source some aftermarket decals for this particular kit, because I don't think I want to use these. These are a little bit yellowed, I have to say. It's a shame because I mean basically this is going to build into a lovely kit. So that's it, guys. That is basically the JS122 Dragon kit. What's it? 6013. If you can get hold of one, by all means do so. It's a very rare kit. I was very fortunate to basically get a hold of one on eBay, and that will be your main source, to be honest with you. It's quite an iconic tank because obviously it spelled the end of the war when this came in, and it did half pack a punch, so certainly know that. So there you go, that is the JS122 tank destroyer by Dragon. And if you can get hold of one, by all means do so. It looks like it's going to make a superb, fairly easy build for Dragon, I have to say. And yeah, there you go. So that's it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, subscribe. If you need to make any comments again, you'll have to go onto Stuart Scale Models Facebook page and leave your comments there. Anyway, until then, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon.